Welcome, Amakhosi Network. Welcome to the channel, guys. Welcome. Please subscribe to the channel, guys. I really appreciate everyone who have subscribed. Please continue to subscribe to the channel. You are the most important person to the channel because you help us to grow and you help us continue to make these videos. But yeah, guys, let's jump to it. Is this Molefe Ntseke's last 2 weeks at Kaizer Chiefs? That is the big question I have for you today. Is this Molefe Ntseke's last 2 weeks at Chiefs? Because in the next 2 weeks, we are going to be playing Sekhukhune United and Cape Town City. Wednesday, Sekhukhune, and I believe 3rd October, we're playing Cape Town City. If Molefe Ntseke fails to win the next 2 games, guys, I think it will be finished for Molefe Ntseke. I think he will be fired. I think he will. I don't know what will happen. They will force him to resign. I don't know. But I feel like it will be his last days at Kaizer Chiefs. Because why? Molefe Ntseke is now under more pressure. What is the pressure? There's already a caretaker coach chilling and waiting for Molefe Ntseke to mess up. There's already, guys, I feel like you don't understand. The fact that Kaizer Chiefs has hired Kevin Johnson means that this guy can assess Kaizer Chiefs, the senior team, etc., as his own team already and already start figuring out what is going wrong, what is going right. Meaning that Kevin Johnson can already start talking to the players, seeing the videos, watching the games, seeing how he would do things better, start developing relationships with the players, etc., etc. So when if Molefe Ntseke fails, they'll be like, Kevin Johnson, you've been here for 2 weeks. You've had a time to watch all the players play for 2 weeks. Step in and take over for Molefe Ntseke because he has failed. And Kevin Johnson will be there for 2 weeks and he knows this guy has coached with Pito, etc., etc. So in a way, he has the experience to coach a big team. As to whether he will succeed, we don't know because Kevin Johnson hasn't really succeeded with a so-called big team. When I say so-called big team, I'm like when he was at SuperSport United, he succeeded at Platinum Stars, but he did not succeed at SuperSport United. But then I will also say this: there are many big coaches who have struggled at SuperSport United. We saw Eric Tingler being the best at Cape Town City, goes to SuperSport, struggles. We saw Kevin Johnson, best at Platinum Stars, go to SuperSport, struggles. I don't know what the problem is. Maybe it's because SuperSport keeps selling their best players, so the coaches can't really develop cup-winning teams. But anyway, now Kevin Johnson is here at Kaizer Chiefs, and chances are Molefe Ntseke has the last 2 weeks to prove that he still deserves to be the coach. Why do I say the next 2 weeks? Because it seems like there's another international break after the 3rd of October. Because when I was checking the fixtures today, it was saying that our next game after the 3rd of October is going to be the 28th of October. In between the 28th of October, obviously the MTN 8 is going to play, and I believe there's going to be an international break. I think Bafana is playing Ivory Coast on the 17th of October. So that means that if they fire Molefe Ntseke this week or next week, the coach they're going to be putting in will have the international break to train with his team, to be better, to gel with the team, for them to understand him. So by the time the 28th of October comes, they are ready to play. That is if Molefe Ntseke gets fired. That's why I say I feel if he does not get the results and it doesn't show any positive signs from what we've seen, that the last 3 games have been positive, but they've lacked goals. Is it a Molefe Ntseke problem? Yes, because goals start from training. But at the same time, Molefe Ntseke is not a striker coach. So he can show the players how to score and he can see them doing it in training. But if you're not a striker coach, you can't get them mentally, even in training. So striker coaches work on your mental, they work on technique, they work on every form, they work on so many things. The reason why I say this is because when you are playing soccer, in the final third, your mind starts rushing. A striker coach is there to make your mind focus in the final third. To make your life easier. So, example, they will say to Dupree. Dupree likes rushing his shots. So they'll say this to Dupree. They'll in training they'll do this to Dupree. They'll say, Dupree, every time you break out on goal, instead of shooting same time when you get close to the keeper, fake the first shot. Fake the first shot. So do like you're going to shoot, and then like the keeper will like stutter or whatever, and then the second time you shoot. This is just to confuse the keeper and to make you comfortable in placing your spot. Things like that, the striker coach will put into the player to be like, fake your shot. They'll be like, Dupree, do a step over. Dupree, do this. Dupree, before you shoot, slow down a bit. Before you shoot, don't shoot at the pace you are running. If you are going to shoot at the pace you are running, you do not shoot with you try to shoot more with the inside of your foot than you do with your laces. It's things like that that you build into a striker so that when they shoot, they make their jobs easier, because there's so many chances that Dupree has missed because he has tried too hard to score, where hitting the target was all he needed to do was to score the goal. Because that's the thing. And I'll say this to all strikers, the first thing you need to do as a striker is hit the target. If you are practicing every day to hit the target, that is number one, the most important thing. Whether the keeper is saving or whatever the case may be, but make sure you are hitting the target with a good effort. Hit the target, meaning that it's on target. What does that mean? The best strikers, Ronaldo, Nazario, Messi, Benzema, etc., have 10 to 20, maybe even 30% of their goals, the keeper has touched the ball. But because it's on target and it's going in the right direction, it's still a goal. So if you are not shooting on target, then there's no goal. Even Percy Tau, same story. We've seen him score so many goals where he's just hit the target and the keeper gets a touch, but because it's going on towards goal, it still ends up in the back of the net. And that is what Dupree needs. Dupree needs to hit the target. Keep on hitting the target, keep on hitting the target. And the thing is that once you are used to hitting the target, that is where you start figuring out how to hit the target better. Chip the ball, pick a better spot, hit it with this side of your foot, etc. etc. But it's always important, hit the target. So these are things that Dupree, Sahile, Mdu Shabalala, need to do, because Mdu Shabalala has missed tap-ins this season. Dupree has missed tap-ins. Saile has missed tap-ins. Gonzalez, we haven't seen enough of him. You know, it's sad. This is the one sad thing. Our two main strikers, Gonzalez and Ranga, have not had the chances of Dupree, have not had the chances of Modi, have not had the chances of Botsani, have not had the chances of our wing players and our midfielders, which is sad because they are the strikers. They should be the ones who are better off in those positions. So that's one thing the Chiefs needs to fix is getting our Gonzalez, their main strikers, to score goals, because Gonzalez and Ranga are not there to be creative players. They are there to score goals. So they need to find themselves in the box. So yeah, guys, that's it for today. Please subscribe to the channel. Let me know what you think. Tomorrow we'll do the preview of the Sekhukhune game, what starting lineup we think we'll have. Me personally, I do not want to see Matt in Wednesday's game. I want to see Mteto. Matt and Shanti, actually. Matt and Shanti, I do not want to see them. And I'll say this, a lot of you guys were saying you don't want to see Peterson, and I understand, and I do not blame any of you for saying that. I do not blame any of you for saying that. And I see a lot of people have been crying for Itumeleng Kune, etc. And I'll say this is my opinion. It may be wrong or whatever. But when Kuna played against SuperSport United, people keep saying he had one mistake. That is a lie. Kuna's mistake wasn't only that shot that Poseidon missed. When there were corners, Kuna missed almost all the corner kicks that went out, and he came out of the pole. He missed almost all of them. So Kune, on another day, those teams were just gonna get easy headers if they just got someone to head on target. He missed so many tap-ins, and Ukune was not good playing with his feet and stuff like that. So, and his saves, he was very, yeah, he was looking very old. When he was diving, he was looking very old. But a lot of people, and this is the thing with South African fans, that we need to fix within ourselves, especially people Lebatlale Township and Nekasi football. Just because a keeper can do a flashy dive, it does not mean he's a good keeper. Just because a person at Destiny can give someone a spy two, it does not mean he's a good player. Because all these guys who give people a spy two, they don't make the PSL. Why? Because spy two does not win people a game. Shibobos don't win people to a game. What wins people games is goals and assists. So all these guys who are the best dribblers and the best people who wanna dribble, etc., they are the most useless soccer players in professional football, because what they do at Destiny cannot result in winning. Why do I say this? All these guys, one thing you guys need to realize when you watch soccer from a Dustin, this does football, etc., Ekasi football. These guys who dribble, they don't dribble to go forward. They dribble in one spot. They'll do a style there at the halfway line or whatever. In areas that aren't dangerous, they don't dribble to go forward. So me, even if I'm at Dustin and I get dribbled by these guys, the crowd will laugh. Back up, I'm shy. But I'll be like, but this guy will never score against my team. This guy is useless. This guy can do all his dribbling here. He can shire us all by two, but he will never reach at our pole. And even if he reaches by our pole, we won't care because he's gonna kick it over the pole because he doesn't know basics of soccer. He just knows how to dagger and all of those things that aren't necessary in football, which is the problem with South African football. We praise useless things. In Brazil, they are every player is skillful. Every player is skillful, but when a player who is skillful enters the field and does nonsense, where he goes and dribbles and does useless things, they will say substitute that guy. Why? Because if the football is playing here, he must go play indoor soccer or at Dustin as a Brazil. This is professional football. We want goals, we want cups. And that's one thing. I know I'm going on a rant on this, but I wanted to just say this point, especially because I wanted to make this point with Ukun. In the Super Sport game, there was a point in the game where this young player took a shot and Kune made this amazing dive where he dived and he saved it. And I was like, oh, you know what? This dive that Kune did is gonna make people think that Kune is has had a fantastic game, but it's a lie. He did not have a fantastic game, but everyone will not forget the dive. They will forget that he couldn't play with his feet in the game. He was struggling. They'll forget that all the corners and set pieces Supersport had, Kune was struggling to get to. They will forget those basics, the basics of being a keeper. They'll forget them. And those basics, who has them? Peterson. Peterson coming corner kicks, he gets the ball. Peterson shots from far, he gets them. Sundance took shots for days from outside, he gets them. The only problem with Peterson, concentration. Concentration with Peterson. The mistakes he made against Sundowns, he made those same mistakes against Royal AM, but Royal AM did not punish us. He made those same, Peterson has those things where lapse of concentration. I think in the Royal AM, he was having those issues with the clock where they kept messing up passes and passing the opposition. So, and if you have to ask me what Bavuma's issue is, Bavuma's issue is simple, guys. Bavuma's issue is simple: positioning. Last season, when Bavuma played, every goal that went against him, that they scored against him, was a goal because of positioning. He could not position himself in the pole, meaning there were people who were taking shots right by Bavuma's feet, but because he could not position himself well, he could not save it. And that is his problem. If Bavuma can fix his positioning, he will be a better keeper. And Bavuma has the same thing that Kune has. when you take long ranges, he does spectacular saves, etc., etc. But when a guy just kicks the ball on target, it's a goal with Ubvuma because Ubvuma does not know how to position himself. So goalkeeping department is a bit weak now. With Peterson making these mistakes, it was looking better start of the season, but with these mistakes, it's looking like a problem.